All right. This is AIK again. I'm coming on a little late, but I am here just for future use of these videos. I always try to quickly talk about some of the things that I plan on changing and getting started. All right, number one, real quickly, I always start this with the first part of the video, just in case someone just watched one. And this is most of the beginning with all of them. So, number one is we have acronym of jail, and I'll talk about that later. Like I always say in the other videos, they mean something. And number two, minimum wage. I'm gonna try to get that to $20 an hour. Then we move on and work on the work week. Then number three is healthcare. I think I got a better plan. Not trying to change Obamacare, trying to improve it. So we're gonna move with that, and I think it'll be gravy. You said why you not talking about it now, but soon I'll put it out what the plan is for that healthcare plan, which is totally better than all the other plan. We'll take out just a little bit, take out some of the commercial healthcare. We'll take some of that out and go further because I'm thinking about the civilian, the citizen of the United States. So, and next number four is education. Like I say, I plan on changing education to something that look like the future that gonna be instead of we basing and things of the old. I believe that some of the curriculum need to change and some of the books that being taught out of need to change to have a history on what not to do versus what they're teaching kids today just for knowledge basis. We need to go to a point that we need to start teaching them more of the future that is to come, not old history. You know, it's good to teach history when we have those things during the history month, but other than that, it should be taught things that we are going into the future with. And Social Security. I plan on changing Social Security. Most people agree or disagree, but I think it'll be great. I don't think Social Security will run out. I think that's the thing they pitch, but I don't think it will because it has been proven as we have been in this administration here, they have spent a whole lot of money on what? Nothing. And but cause of life. If you could start up another department like ICE, we have the money. Social Security is not going to run out. So we can change that, have a better plan, and consist to help the citizen of the United States. So go a little further, and number seven, voting right. We surely gonna change that to fit every citizen, and based off immigrant and all of that, we gonna change some of the voting right to a point that when you get to the Supreme Court, they have no question whatsoever trying to change it, trying to take away. I know that we got bills, rights that already is in play, but we need to change them. Not that we'll now in the civil rights movement, we need to change it for permit as a citizen of the United States. Can anybody stop you from voting? If it be mail-in voting, whatever, however you want to vote, it should be freely chosen. Because if we look at it, it's so disappointing when people say people cheat. We got too many people in this country that cheat. We people are dedicated to voting. And let's go a little further. And to the loan debt, I'm surely gonna work on that. I say if everything work out right, it's gonna be based off income. If the low income people will see that we paying at least 80% of their debt, with the other 20 they will have to pay on their own. We're not trying to give you totally free loading, but we're just trying to get you to a point that you're able to sustain when you get into your field that you're not paying student loans still in a crisis in your finance. So number nine, this is my last one, is the rental price. Rental prices I want to change. I want to put a broad on rental prices that It be a set price regardless of where you at. I know it's private business, private corporation, whatever, but it's got to be some regulation that how much you can charge a person for a one bedroom, two bedroom. It doesn't matter the location. It should be based on what a person can afford, what's how the economy. You cannot sell a apartment for $2,000 and the city have nothing in it. It doesn't make any sense. It just putting people in just in more abundance. So that's my take on those five, them nine things that I always put before the video before I start talking. So let's talk about a little about the White House. We understand that everything been taking place. They finally rescued the pilot that was shot down. But that's good. I believe that the military were in it for 20 something years, but I know that they can accomplish that. We did it, in the past. We know that they could have did that if the defense secretary and all of them stay out the way and let the general do what they do best and move themselves out the way and just keep getting updates and that's it and follow the battle. When people that don't have the focus on how to fight a war, how to fight a battle, they should just stay out and just be brief, get all the information, then go brief to the public. And this is what they're doing, this is how they're operating, and and that should be based on the ballot assessment. Yes, you get on the ballot assessment and tell them this what took place, how it took place, and bam, nothing else, nothing less. We know that we accept casualty. We know that we accept people that get injury, but when it's a war that unpredictable, that's when we get in trouble. And I believe that it's this would have been a more planned thing. It would have been much easier and more success, and probably been quicker because this was a not a planned thing. The Iran knew that we was coming, and it was not a surprise. And what we do in the military, we will love to surprise the enemy, and we always fight not just one on one. And you say we're not fighting like that now. Yes, in a way we are because we don't have all the forces together. We can start an air campaign like we did in Iraq. That's good, but they're not. In Iraq, we was at targets. We wasn't pinpointing individually trying to take them out. We started out with targets, the most deadly and highly deadly weapon system people. That's who we went at first. Then we went from there. But this administration just targeting just just want to tear stuff up, along with they pointing at Israel. I got nothing wrong with Israel, uh, but what we sitting at now will seem to be in trouble because it seems like Israel have backed off and the U.S. is still there. So with that right out, it's a thinking, it's a planning, and the situational awareness, which is not in the White House, is still a mess. Even if they got rid of Bundy and the other one, the Homeland Security person, it's very complicated, and now we're seeing see the cracks in it. It lasted for a minute, but it's not gonna last forever. Hopefully, the Democrat win the midterm, and we don't do it, we get the House. But it'll be good to have both because we know if you get the House and try to impeach Trump, it's not going to happen because the Republican not going to do it. But my goal is, and I encourage the Democratic. I know people probably criticize. I will not impeach Trump at the moment they take their House. not for a year. I would do it as I would come out and say this. We take both of the House and the Senate, and we hold fast to it. I would come out with a statement saying that we'll investigating, we'll open up investigating, we'll looking into things, and that 2020 27, I would say the beginning of 2028, I will look at impeaching Donald Trump. That's how I would do it. I want to impeach it the first month that Democrat take office. I have some investigate, but yet have a function of government making bills because you're not gonna get nothing passed, and sure he's the still the president. So that's out of question. So that's why I say don't even impeach him because saying that the people that behind him, JD Vance is crooked, evil, but a smart, crooked, evil person. Donald Trump just have no knowledge, but he crooked and evil, but he just ain't cunning as JD Vance. So I say hold fast to that impeachment, and you know, just I say that because if you give a Republican a chance, those Republican that is questionable, those Republican that is saying enough is enough, or voting for Republican Party, that's that's the one we need to keep and stay focused on. Because if you get somebody in there that got some sense and but cunning but evil at the same time, they probably would go back to voting Republican. 'Cause I feel like, oh, they much better than Donald Trump. So I say stay where you at. Don't change and just veto, stop everything that he did, cancel everything he's doing, and just investigate and just stop a whole lot of stuff that they're doing. So that's my focus on that. Okay, gas price. I know we are in Alabama. They are at 360 something. I know about a year later they won't be that, but just to be a talking point. And then food prices is still the same. I notice on the meat prices. If you notice on the meat prices, it's getting a little smaller portion that's in there, and you pay attention to it. But yeah, it's a higher price. So that's a comfort everybody should look into. The food way it way less, but the same prices are there. So it seems like it ain't went nowhere, but it just getting less and less with the price, the weight of it, and the citizen. And I know citizens going through a lot, so I believe that they'll make the right decision in their voting that gonna help. And I believe that since we're having all these no king rally and no king protests, that people are waking up saying that hey, we like our democracy. We don't want no part of no king because a king is there for life or whenever he dies. But a democracy that if you don't like somebody, the next 4 years you can get them out. I very well can be president and they might not like me, but I think people will like me because it's all about the citizen with me and helping them have a better quality of life and getting that in at that place of not so much socializing with them in the open, but socialize them in a place of private and just get to know them and let people know what you're doing and how you're doing that they can feel like they are part of the administration or part of the United States. So that's about all I had tonight. I know I took a long time with the White House about it just troublesome how and what they're doing, especially the war is very critical. I think that He trying to prolong it, but I don't think he's gonna last that long because it's not going the way he planned it or wanted to go or whatsoever. But I just encourage all the military people, journal, and other high-ranking people just hold fast in now. And I believe that situations change. We we have been taught that when situations change, it's got to be a flago. Once you get on the battlefield, things change. You cannot do directly what the defense secretary say or whatsoever. If he said go below some ship and they know it's gonna bring harm to the pilot or someone, we ought to do a frago. And, we might can't blow that ship up right then and there. Better condition is a success, and I always learn that in the army. Better condition is a success. Cause even when we went to Iraq, it was a dusty storm and traveling couldn't see nothing. We would have followed on forces with first Cal and fourth ID, but third ID went before fourth ID, and then that put us second, first Cal, and then fourth ID was third to go. So condition is very, very important. If the condition not right, you can always stand in place, and security is the number one thing. It always taught security, security, security. Anytime you go into battle, you got to have some type of security. And right now, eh, we ain't got that security that we need because when you got airplanes and they said they had air superiority, but it's sort of a little complicated though. And two, with now I'm not saying it was wrong. I'm not saying that why they did it, but when you got a plane like that, it depends on what he got shot, what shot down. I'm not sure what shot it down. Could have been a missile whatsoever. And you say, well, they know I haven't got in fine detail what shot it down. But if a missile shot it down, it was pretty much I'm gonna say like it was pretty much in the range of too low, I say. When you get the target, you pinpoint the target, you get down, you shoot, and you getting out. Now, if you just cruising, yes, you might get tagged, but if you high where you should be at, because being low, like I seen, let's say like I seen in some in Ukraine. Not saying it was wrong for them to do it or they was in a safe zone, I guess. But when you low and you can tell it's a plane and you can see the writing on it, you probably too low, really. And that's the key. You probably too low. If they can read them numbers, you're probably too low. If they can see the individual in the cockpit, too low. So that's something other that whether it was why they was that low and not giving the plane enough time to put out the defense, you know, it is something to look into. But that's all I have to tonight. I know I get back on my regular schedule to next Monday because it was just had a lot to do, and I just had to take a break and get on fire before I take my nap. I call it a nap. When you get old, it's a nap because I find out when you sleep, you wake up some part of the night. Just wake up. But with all that said, I believe that we'll come out good. But we got to start thinking about where we go from here. Do we want to be the same party, Democratic Party? I can't say too much about the Republican because Republican is sort of been taken over by MAGA. So we got to have a change. We got to have a forcefully administration to get stuff done. And I mean forcefully start looking at presidential something that normally went and that's how it should be done and it's not in writing. That should be a blowback. We don't see that because when you do that, and I started Caney said, we have an administration like we have now, all that stuff, and if it's not in writing, not in black and white, it's no good to them. You can't fight it in court because it's just like I said one. It's just like abortion, and they always go to the famous the famous case that was, but when you ain't got it in writing, it gonna change. It's nothing that you can fight against it. You know, most people was against the decision for the Supreme Court, but you know, we left it open for the Supreme Court to make another decision on it. Now, whether it be right or wrong, I'm just saying legally why we should make laws and put things in law or put things in the Constitution that it can't be changed unless it be voted on and go to the representative be voted and Senate and then the president sign it. So it's a law. That's what we go by. If it's a law, the Supreme Court cannot fight against. And that's the key thing about the Supreme Court. You don't make things up as you go. You take the law for what it is. If it say, just for instance, it say a person shall not kill a person that is either not attacking them or trying to rob them or something, you know, just go further and further. If he just kill a person just for no reason, we understand right there it's illegal. It's against the law. They should go to jail. No Supreme Court should change the decision of a lower court because the law states no person should kill another person unless it due to these things, include things, should I say. So we have to look at some of the laws, look at some of the things that they say, quote, that's been there since 100 years, and that's what we follow. We can't do that. We have to make laws and put it in stone, black and white, and say, hey, this is the law. This is what we go with. This is how we make our decision. And most people are looking at the Supreme Court, and I don't start talking about Supreme Court. How do I get on down? Most people look at the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is not to make laws. Uh, that's something or another that the Supreme Court seem to have an ideal that they make the laws. Now, if you look at things, the Supreme Court is to protect the law. That's what judges are for. They protect the law that is in black and white. Just like the 14th Amendment, it states plainly that birthright is a person that is born on the U.S. soil. You can't even fight that. You shouldn't even have a debate about this because it says it in the Constitution that birthright citizenship, plain as day. If you born on the soil of the United States, you are a citizen. That's how it is. And you can try to fight it as a defense or lawyer or attorney, whoever it is, but it should lose. Supreme Court should never even take this court up. Supreme Court should never allow a a lawyer to debate in front of them or debate them because basically that's what they're doing. Because it states plain as day, they shouldn't even take the court this case up. Should say, hey, we are acknowledging that the 14th Amendment, this is what it states, and that's what it is. There's no reason to have a case. There's no case. Throw it out and forget about it. What they gonna do? And that's what I look at the Supreme Court to be. Don't decide your own conscience, your own decision, what you think is right. That ain't what you Supreme Court is there for. Every judges go by their law. First, they look at their state law. And then if they state law have some glitches, have some weak spot, they go to the federal law. What do the federal law say? So with that federal law in play, that's the last law they look at, and that's what they base their decision on. If the state laws say you can carry a weapon publicly, but then the federal law say you only can carry a weapon public, but not in a federal building. So you have to look at that. State judges should go, okay, use in a federal building with a weapon. You either got to be fined or you got to be thrown in jail. That's simple. It's no debate. It's no it's no basis of trying to fight that. The federal law states that you can have a open carry in a federal building. Not just saying, but that's some of the things we just got to look at the laws of the United States and the Constitution. We got to dig deep and come with something better that is take out the loophole out of it, and that's what we need to do. But I'm gonna get off over here, get off here because it is getting late for me. But whenever you see this video, just understand that this is me running for president. I'm not a stranger to the politic thing. I had my trial run when I run for governor in Alabama. I knew that I had a 20% chance of winning. I just jumped in the race. It was January, February, March. I jumped in the race in February because I had to do my pay the fee and all of that. By that time, campaigning in March, I think, and then the primary was in May, I believe. So I had 2 months of campaign. I was going here and there, and I got tired because I was trying to do so much at so short a time, and plus my travel. I was trying to travel, but then I was working as well. I was traveling there, come back, get a rest, go to work, go back, and it was just getting tired. But if I would have started the first of the 2 years out, I believe that I would have a better chance of winning because I got votes, and most people knew. The only thing that killed me was trying to get black males to vote, and that's what my problem. And people wasn't excited to vote, but other than that, it was good. But now I know that you have to start early. You have to get in the race, start with a good start. A whole year, you can do damage, and I understand that one now. But I just jumped in there just to see how it was and see can what I pitched to the citizen, and it was working. I know it was working because when I started out, I was unknown, and all of a sudden, I just popped up from nowhere, and they mentioned my name. So I know it was working for the little 2 months I had. But other than that, I think that my goal now, I'm putting together my team, and most people say something new. Yeah, something new. You as a newcomer, you got to be ready, and hopefully the people that I ask, hopefully they give me some favor and say, okay, let's try this. And like I said tonight, and you ain't got nothing to lose, you know, but you got a lot to gain. So I say I'll be calling some people around. I'm already getting in touch with the people. Just somewhere I had some glitches, some I I didn't, but all this take place after the midterm. So that's when I get more into it. All these videos I'm making now, I'm gonna start pushing them and tagging them to text message, email, and for they can see some of the video. So that's my goal. You gotta have a lot side there, and that's what I'm doing now. But this will complete tonight for me. And like I always say, El Kia out. Have a good night and a wonderful morning.